Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Zombieland Gaming. It is once again time for some computer circuitry stuff and things. So this is going to be episode number 2 of Turing Complete, and we're going to go through seven of these little lessons here today, and we will discuss them because these are some of the ones that I've already completed, and we still have to kind of get through all the ones I've completed until we finally get to the stuff that we're going to be working on together. Let's go ahead and say play. So today we're going to be working in memory and arithmetic. And we're going to start out right here with the memory. Actually, you know what? No. Let's go left to right. So we're going to start with the arithmetic, and this is going to be called Binary Racer. This level is my favorite pastime, converting decimals into binary under time pressure. Toggle the bits in the level panel, that's this down here, so that they add up to the decimal number in the question. You must reach level 3 to pass. So essentially, you add. That's all this is going to be doing. So with binary, most significant bit to least significant bit. That's what they call these, right? So on the very left side of your bus work or any input or whatever is going to be the higher number. Anywhere on the right side is going to be your least significant bit or the lower number. And the way binary works is it's in multiples of 2, right? Well, not multiples, powers of 2. So we start off with 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. So we just keep going. If there was another one added here, it'd be 256, so on and so forth, right? So all we're going to be doing in order to get binary addition, to get a number, is you just take all the numbers that are available down here and make them add up to give you the number that's out. All right, so, I made it to level 5 last time. All right, start. So it wants 1 in binary. Boom, submit it. Wants 2 in binary, submit it. 3 in binary is 2 plus 1. 5 in binary is 4 plus 1. 13 is 8. 12, ooh, not a 2, a 1. 13, 8 is by itself. 0 is nothing, submit. 2. 11 would be 8 plus 3. 29 is 16, 24, and 5. 24 is 16 plus 8 makes 24. 2, bam, there we go. 6 is 4 and 2. 2 is 2. 12 is 8 and 4. 4. 21 is 16 plus, no, not 2. Whatever, 21. 23 is 16. I'm going wily. This is using my brain. 16, 18, 24, and 5, right, bam. 43 is 32, 43. 7 is 421. 47 is 32, 40, and 7. 17 is 8, 12. Oh, no. What are we doing? What are we doing? Right there. Bam. 22 is 22. 49 is, yeah, we're going to have to do. Oh, how do I. Oh, God. Oh, we reached level 4. Oh, my brain started not working there. I was too many numbers to click. So that's all that was. So it's basically just kind of showing you how binary is transferred into decimal in the most basic of ways. It's easier to look out if you actually write it down on paper, which is a matter of fact. Let's go ahead and zoom out of this to this spreadsheet here. So let's go ahead and go to a new sheet, sheet number 2. Let's go ahead and also do this column width. We don't need them to be so big. Bam, there we go. All right, so in binary, right, let's just say we're using these 4 bits here. So we've got 8, 4, 2, and 1. Those are what our bits would be called, powers of 2, right? So if we're coming down here and we say we've got input 1 is off, input 2 is off, input 3 is off, input 4 is off. So let's actually label these A, B, C, and D. Then what you're going to get out here is 0 because nothing is turned on. If we turn on this bit, 1, and then the rest of them are turned off, you're going to get the number 1. Because all we're doing is adding these together, right? So what we could do down here is we go equals sum of how do I want to present this? I don't know how I'm going to do this. Okay, you know, I'll work on an equation for that later. I don't want to do algorithms in my head right now. But so we just keep moving down, right? So we're just going to keep moving down the line here. So 0, 0, and now we need a 2 and a 1, makes 3. And then now we need a 4. We've got a number 4. So, hey, we put that right there. Everything else is turned off. We've got a number 4. If we want a number 5, hey, we've got a 4 plus a 1 makes 5. So everything else is turned off. If we want a 6, we don't need a 1. We need a 2 and a 4. And then we turn the D off or the 8. So we get a 6. so on and so forth, until, like in the case of this, if we have all of these turned on, 8 plus 4 makes 12, plus 2 makes 14, plus 1 makes 15. So technically, with this 4-bit system here, we've got 0 through 15. If we go up to 32, or sorry, 8-bit, so we go ahead and add a 16th in here with an E, and if we turn this one on, we've got now 31, which technically is 32 bits because you have this off bit down here, right? So that's how binary works. Go back to our other sheet because we're going to need this in a second. So that's all that one was wanting you to do. Just basically add things up to make it work. Double trouble. Because we are so technologically advanced, we have machines fold our socks. That's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, the circuit that detects sock pairs broke on the machine. Dude, every time I put socks in the wash machine, they lose. This level has 4 inputs. Output only turn the output on when 2 or more of them are on. So ignore my little drawing up here real fast. So if we look at this truth table down here, basically anytime that you have 2 of these bits turned on, 2 or more bits turned on, you're going to notice that there's an output. So right here, we've got an output because we have both A and B on. Right here, we have an output because we have A and C on. We have B and C on here. We have A, B, and C on here. So on and so forth, right? So that's what they're looking for. So I think did I do some stuff and things over here? I believe I did. Let's go window combinational analysis, table, right? Did I? Yes. So, okay. So this is my program here called Logicism, right? I didn't need to use this program. I'm using this program so I can show you some stuff and things, right? So I can come in here, say I've got 4 inputs. I can assign inputs, I can assign an output, and then I can come in here to the Y and I can change the output of the Y and then tell it to build a circuit. So bam, there's my circuit. I really don't need to do anything, right? I could just put that in the game and away we go. But we want to study what this does, right? So in my spreadsheet down here, what I've done is I've set up something to basically show the use of Karnaugh maps, the tables, and all that sort of stuff. So if we come down here, here's our truth table. Why are you showing that? Get rid of that. There. We have our truth table. So we've got A, B, C, and D, and I've just inputted exactly what's on the truth table there. Mine's a little flippity-floppity backwards. I like to go A to D instead of D to A. But, so this is 0, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's the decimal down below. So all we're looking for is if there are more than 2 signals. So if we count them, nothing's turned on, so that's 0 signals. 1 is turned on, 1 signal, so on and so forth, right? So I put the numbers out here until we get to 15, and we got 4 signals on. So then all we have to do from there is, okay, I've got 2 here, so this output needs to turn on. 2, output needs to turn on. 2, output needs to turn on. 3, definitely more than 2. So we assign our outputs. In order to make a Boolean expression so we can start to figure out the most simplified circuit to build, we use what's called a Karnaugh map. So all this is doing here is the Y column is going to be A and B, specifically in that order, A and B. So you notice where it says 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. That's A is off, B is on. A is off, B is on. A is on, B is on, A is on, B is off. And then the same thing for C and D up on top on the x-axis. So what we're filling in on this chart here is if we look in our truth table, for where both A and B is off and C and D is off. So that's what this is A and B and C and D, right? So both of these criteria have to satisfy in order to get a 1 in this box. So we've got right here, A and B are off. Okay, we're going to be in this column. C and D are off. We're going to be in this column. So we come to this box right here where they both match and we want to put whatever our output's supposed to be. So 0, right? So if you notice right here, we've got A and B are off and C and D are on. So if we come down to our truth table and look for where A and B are off, oh, nope, that's not C and D on. Let's get all the way down here. Hey, look at that right here. This column right here, A and B are turned off, C and D are turned on. So in this one right here, we want to go, what is this trying to do? Oh, we want an output. So, okay, I'll put an output here. So once we filled in our table, right, what we then next need to do is we want to make circles around this graph. And there's a various couple rules, and I believe I wrote them down just so I can make sure I'm telling you them correctly. So on a Karnaugh map, there's about 7 rules that are the guidelines, really, to be honest. Let's be honest. But so you're never going to circle a 0. So none of these are going to get circled. So we might as well just take them out of the cancel. Let's just backspace them out. I don't even want to look at these, right? So zeros are gone. Now they're not even in my head. I can't even look at them. The next thing is no diagonals. So I can't select this block and select this block. That does not work. I can't circle those. Or in the case of like here and here and here, I can't go diagonal. Can't do that. Then groups of 2 to the n power, right? So that's 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, so on, right? So I couldn't come in here and circle all 6 of these because that doesn't satisfy 2 to the n power. Now, however, I can do 4 because that's 2 times, 2 to the 2, right? If all of these squares were filled in, that'd be 16, which is a multiple of 2 to the n power. Or like this, bam, that'd be satisfying it. If all of those were 1s, mind you, because once again, we have to obey the rule of no zeros. We have to make large as possible groups. So if, like, say I selected this group right here, well, I don't want to then select this group. So, like, let me see. Let's go ahead and color these in here. So if we go, like, blue right there, then I wouldn't just select just these 2 on their own, right? I wouldn't do this because the smaller the groups I make, as we're going to see here in a little bit, the bigger and the more unsimplified my expression is going to be. So what we would do in this case would be all of these would also get selected. So you would actually have an overlap here of these 2. Let's make that like a different color. So these are all in purple. These are all in red. And it does overlap. Perfectly fine. The same would happen if I came down here and grabbed these 4, because I don't want to just grab the 1 by itself. I want to grab as big of a possible circle. So that'd be this right here, which let's color that green. And now this is a combination of all 3 of these. So we've got this whole circle here, this circle here, this circle here. And actually, I might as well just keep circling here to show you. So this is going to be added in with this. Why did I just color that 1 square? This one is going to get color right here, which is going to be, let's make it that color. And then this right here would also get colored. So basically, these and these are all going to be, let's make it all orange. So all of these are being used inside other circles. Perfectly, absolutely fine. It's basically overlapping to give us a bigger expression. All right, so moving on to the next rule is each one must be part of a group if possible. So if, say, we had a 1 right here, you would think this 1 is all by itself. But there is a break in the, oh, actually, you know what? Oh, yeah, I can't roll around to here. So there is a break in the rule of no diagonals. So this one over here can actually go to this one in the corner. The corners can diagonal. This one can't, this one can also wrap around to here. So you can think of it like this. If I make my table and I go like this, I've now wrapped around so these 2 can connect to each other to make a 2. And we'll probably see that in a different Karnaugh map later. All right, and then they may overlap, which we've already just discussed here, like in the orange, and then may wrap around the table, like I just discussed, right? So if, say, we had another one like here, like we had 1 here, but we didn't have these ones right here. These 2 could be coupled with these 2 to make a 4, right? Okay. All right, so now that's all highly confusing. Let's go ahead and make all these no back color again. No fill. Bam. There we go. All right, so now what you see over here, once we get our table done, what we want to do is we want to figure out, looking at these circles that we've made, what is common in them. So, like, if we look at this line right here, let's go ahead and color it just that way I can keep it there. So, if we look down here, we have a C and a D, right? These are all true for C and D. However, A and B are never the same. We have an A prime or an A naught, and then all of a sudden A goes to regular. We have B, but then a B goes to regular. So A and B are constantly changing, so they're not the same. So this expression right here would be this one right here. Go ahead and clear these out again. And then if we go to this line right here, color this in a different color. Then what we're common here is A and B is always on, but C and D are constantly flipping, just kind of like how it did with the last one. So let's go ahead and color this one in. I don't even know what color I used. Why not? Let's use that one. Clear these back out. And so then for B and D, so then basically now our next biggest circle is here because I don't have anything. Oh, hello. Z. So because there's not one here, I can't wrap, I can't select a big group of 8 like this because there's a 0 here. So I can't do that. And I can't do 6. So our biggest expression here is going to be these 4. So if we look at them, C and D, right? So C changes state, 0 to 1. But D is constant, so cool. So we know D is going to be in our expression. And then over here, A changes, but B doesn't. So our expression is going to be B and D to satisfy these 4 squares, which is going to be this one right here. Color that one green. And then if we move on to this one, C stays the same, D does not, A does not, but B does. So that's going to be CB, which is this one right here. And you're starting to probably get the picture here. So A and D down here, you're going to see A stays the same, D stays the same. That's going to satisfy that one, which will make this one, I don't know, that color. Ooh, that's a gross color. And then A and C down here, you're going to see A stays the same, B changes, C stays the same, but D changes. So that's going to be our last expression right there. Bam. And that's going to get us our thing. So anytime you make a circle, it's anding. It's this and this and this to make that, whether it be a not or a regular, right? So this is going to be our equation. And then you're ORing all of these together. And that's going to give us our most simplest equation possible. So now if I was to take this expression right here, this A and B, or C and D, or B and D, or C and B, or A and D, or A and C, and I put it into my little calculator over here, whomp, right here, combinational analysis, you're going to see, look, it put up the exact same expression. Of course, it's ordered a little bit differently, but it put up the exact same expression for us. And then this is the table it built, because it's basically A comes down here, you see, and then D, and then A comes down here with C. Can I zoom in on this? Window. Where's this? Can I zoom me? I gotta be able to zoom. Maximize? Ooh, that's the window. Can I not zoom in on this? I gotta be able to zoom in on it. One of these? I don't know. I don't know if you guys can see this. So A comes down here, attaches to this one. A comes to this one, attaches to this one. A comes to this one, attaches to this one. If we look at our combinational analysis, you can see that we got 1, 2, 3 expressions that have A in it. So cool, we know that works. And we should see D, C, and B being the other side of the AND gate. So if we follow B, you can see B comes all the way down here to where A was. We can see C comes over here and comes down to where A was. And we can see D comes right here, there. So that's all we're doing. A and B, A and C, A and D. And then all of these, in the case of this circuit, they've got to just go into one OR gate. It's a multiple input OR gate. We could build the circuit with, these two being ORed together, these two being ORed together, these two, and then, keep towering the OR gates off. But in real life, you have multiple input OR gates. So we might as well just go ahead and go back to the default. We are already in default. And you can see the circuit I built here. So I've just taken A up to here, A up to here, and then A over to here, and then just took B up, C up, D up, and then it's just keep moving on. So we've got our A's taken care of. Now B needs to be with C, B needs to be with D, and then C needs to be with D. So they're all ANDed, and I've just got them. You can actually do this in the game. They don't talk to you about this, but you can just connect all the outputs to one OR gate, either side. And then bam, there we go. We have our output. So if we go ahead and run this, you can see it all. Whoa, hey, that was a little fast. Let me step through that. Boom. So nothing's on. We've got just A on, so you can see my 3 lines of A coming up, but nothing else is on, so none of these AND gates are going to be satisfied. Just B is on, so none of the AND gates are going to be satisfied. Now we've got A and B, so you can see this is where our A and B come together, and bam, we got an output. You can see right now, just C is on, so nothing. So now we've got C and A. We can see our A and C coming out here. And now we've got B and C. So B and C is this AND gate right here, outputting. And then which one's this one? This one's A, B, and C, so that's going to satisfy our A and B, A and C, and our B and C. So any of those. And then OR gate doesn't care if there's more than one. It just, says, hey, okay, something's outputting, go ahead. And so on and so forth. I don't really think I need to step through this. I think you guys get the point here at this point. All right, so that's that one. Now on to our next one. Using a maximum of 3 components, output only when an odd number of inputs are on. All right, this level has hint. Okay, so odd number of signals. So ignore all that. Let me close that out again. I want to reread that. Using a maximum of 3 components. So they're only saying you can't use more than 3 things. Output only when an odd number of signals are. So we look at our truth table here. 1, that's an odd number. Nothing turned on is an even number of nothing turned on. 1 for B means, okay, I got A and B on. That's 2. That's not an odd signal. And if we get down here where A, B, and C are on, well, that's 3. 3 is an odd number. Boom, output, right? So if we come out here to our little schematic, I've got this right here. So this is obviously not 3 components. And here's where I really wish this game kind of discussed things a little bit better. Because we've learned what an exclusive OR gate is, but they haven't really done an intermediate step to show you any of the Boolean expressions, the Karnaugh maps, how to simplify a circuit, or in the case of like this, most Karnaugh maps and all that sort of stuff, sure, there are some tips and tricks that you can look for to see, like, I don't know if does this show me the Karnaugh map? Yeah, it does. Wait, hold on. I got to go back in here to the table. And I need to switch all these outputs. What did they have? So it's off, on, just looking for odd signals. Off. This one can be on, off, off. Oop, that could have stayed on. Stay on. This off, off. That's fine being on, off, on, off. Oh, can't. I don't want that expression. So what we can see here is this equation is just ridiculous. Basically, it's A naught, B naught, A naught and B naught and C naught and D, or A naught, B naught, C, D naught, or giant equation, right? And this is the most simplified form because this is looking at just AND gates, NAND gates, NOR gates, and OR gates. It's not looking at exclusive ORs, exclusive NORs, and things like that. If you look at our little Karnaugh table here, you can kind of see. I wonder if I can expand this out so you can see this a little better. Nope, it does not. It does not expand it out. Ugh. We can kind of see that there's this diagonal pattern, right? Where there's spaces in between. So here goes another one of those things where I'm not circling diagonals, but in a way I am. So this kind of gives me a hint and a clue that exclusive ORs are being used. So this is where you have to kind of just over time, you'll start to learn and see these things that, oh, I've seen this diagonal pattern here with zeros in between. Probably going to be using exclusive ORs. Kind of an odd way to go about it because this is ridiculous. This amount. I mean, I could make this with NAND gates as well, but it's ridiculous. There's no way to simplify this expression easy enough for you to get to a point. I mean, I have used the different Boolean logic, laws to try and simplify it down, but there's just no real good way to simplify it down properly. So what you kind of have to do here is separate it out between A and B and just look solely at A and B. And then that'll lead you into an exclusive OR, right? So right here, if I look at just A and B, I can see that in these first 4, the only time I have an output is if 1 is on. If I look at these next 4, the only time I have an output is going to be if, in this case, I have to watch out for the 3-1. But I can start to get an idea. If I look at, B or C and D, I can see that anytime that there's 1 and only just 1 on, you kind of have to use your brain a little bit to, like, work this out. There's no other way to do it other than to just overly study this and figure that part out. So we can get our hint here, right? You can figure out 2 inputs have an odd number of on signals with just 1 component, which we know is the exclusive OR. So all we're doing here is kind of like when we took our NANDs and our OR gates to go out. We've just got A and B. Is A and B exclusively turned on? If so, we'll get an output. Is C and D exclusively turned on? If so, we'll get an output. And so then now, doesn't matter if A and B are on. If one of them are on, we'll get an input here to this exclusive OR. If one of C and D are on, we'll get an input to exclusive OR. So then, just like before, if one of A and B are on and one of C and D are on, that gives us 2, which would not turn the exclusive OR on. So it's only going to give us this output if we've got, you know, one on. Because if C and D are on, that's going to turn this off, which means if we have an A and or a B on, then we'll get an output. So we'll step it through so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. See, so only A's on, only B's on, but now C and D are on, so the exclusive OR doesn't output. Or sorry, A and B are on. Only C is on, A and C are on, so you can see that it's only one coming through both, but now we have two signals because C is turning this one on, A is turning this one on, so we get nothing out. And then we've got, once again, so this is B and C, same thing. And then now we have three signals, so A and B won't turn on this exclusive OR, even so that we know we have two signals there. And then here we have just one coming through, so we get an output. So you can kind of see the flow there of how things are working. All right. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense. I know that was kind of a rambly on, but hopefully that made a little bit of sense. So, all right, so now we're going to move into memory real quick because these ones aren't too big of a deal. They're kind of just giving you some new information. In our education system, we traditionally teach by tricking students into doing the wrong thing and then teasing them. That's very nice. That's not nice at all, actually. I'm not sure it benefits a student, but teachers love it. Create a circular dependency. This is a circuit where the input of a component relies on its own output. In a circular dependency situation, it is not possible to determine the output of a component because you would first need to determine the input, which relies on the output, and so on henceforth. This does happen in real life, as we're going to see in the next step. There are a lot of circuits like JK flip-flops, SR NOR latches, things like that do require the output to then turn on a difference of state in an input, and the game is not going to allow us to do this after this point. But it's just showing you that there is such a thing as this, but they're going to just give you a chip to exclude you from having to work on this. I don't know if maybe it's just because it was easier for them to program the game without having to deal with that, or whatnot. I mean, I don't see why they couldn't have done it. This state is normally not allowed in other levels, but in this level, the goal is to create it so you can understand what it is before going forward. And then there's always going to be this little error message if we do ever make a circular dependency. So circular dependency, the output of a component leads back to its own input. Read more. So basically what they want you to do is make a circuit where the input of a component depends on its own output. The reason you see, they give you a NOT gate right off the bat. The reason that I have these two here is because the way this works is if I was to step through the ticks, it won't let me change on the next test. So I have to build the whole thing beforehand. So you can actually just put one NOT gate down. Like if I was to take this and just go like this and then create a line right around like this, it would satisfy both of these tests because even though it's only one component, they just kind of go, oh, yeah, right. You can't like do this right off the bat. I wouldn't have known to have done this right off the bat. But so there we go. So basically our input and our outputs are connected. Same here. This output is connected to this input is connected to this output, blah, 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 right? I'm just connecting stuff so it's going in a circle. Bam. So circular dependency. So they're not going to let us do it after this one right here. You just learned how we don't allow circular dependencies. Now you must learn the exception. In this level, you must build an SR latch, which is a set reset. That's what the S and R stand for. Set and reset latch, which stores memory. This is the only level in the game that allows circular dependencies. So looking at our table down here, before we get any farther with this, if one is turned on, we get the B output. Now we got two outputs. If nothing is turned on, we still get the B output. If the second one is turned on, we get the A output. And if nothing turns on, we get the A output again. One turns back on again, and now we're starting over again. So we're kind of getting a look here of what matters to what, right? So like, if I turn something on, we set something, and then if I change something, it doesn't matter. If I set it, it swaps. If I change something, it doesn't matter. Oh, let's scroll all the way to the top here. So consider this simple circuit, just two NOR gates. So NOR is either or, and then inverted on the output. So we got an input B coming down here into this NOR gate, and it's not turned on, but our output's turned on because it's inverted. And that's going into the input of this other NOR gate, which means there's power here. It should be outputting, but it's inverted, so there's no output. Adding this magenta wire doesn't immediately change anything because there's no output, right? So this power right here is not turned on. So two things not turned on means this OR gate's not turning on, except for it's inverted, so it is. And then now as soon as we turn the power on, you can see that now this output is going to be inverted, because we've got power. So now it turns off, which comes into here, which turns this NOR gate off, which means now we have an output coming out. And then now we have power coming into here as well, which the NOR gate doesn't care about, right? Because it already has power coming into it. So the other input isn't going to change anything about this. It's still going to have power coming out. Notice the blue wire is now turned off. It remains like this even after we turn the input off again. So because we've changed the states here, and now this one has got power coming into here, when we turn the power off, you're going to notice there's still power here, so it's coming into here, keeping this one turned off, keeping this one turned on permanently. So we're now trapped in this new configuration. Looking at the blue and magenta wires, it is pretty clear that only one of them can be on at any time. Turning one on turns the other on. So basically what they're going to want us to do is finish the circuit. So the magenta wire is connected to output A, the blue wire is connected to output B. The first input toggles the blue wire, the second input toggles the magenta wire. So all we're doing is basically just taking the A input and putting it on this side of the NOR latch right here. So if we turn this on, it's going to turn this off, which then turns this on, which keeps this locked in. But as soon as I turn this off and turn this on, this turning off doesn't change anything. But when I turn this on, this is already turned off. So this is going to power this NOR gate, which will then invert the output, turning it off, which means this is turned off, this is turned off, this turns on, power comes up, and until I turn this off and turn this on, nothing's going to change. And that's what we're going to see. The A turns on, we get a B output. If I turn A and B off, nothing changes. I turn B on, we swap over to A. I turn the power off again, nothing changes because we're locked in, so on and so forth. So that is an SR NOR latch. All right, third one here. The SR latch contains one bit of information. And this is where, once again, I start to have troubles with the way that they do information here. Keep it as set and reset. Why are you all of a sudden introducing load and saving, or read and writing, or any other word for this? I mean, one, you didn't even call it an SR NOR latch, so how would I have known if you hadn't shown me that I'm supposed to use NOR gates? Because it's called an SR NOR latch. They didn't provide that information, and they didn't even really tell you that it was set and reset. And now all of a sudden they're calling it load or save, which means something different to me. But so essentially what we're doing is create a circuit that can save one bit of information. The first input should determine if we load or save. The second input is the value to save. This value should be ignored if we load it. So this one took a little bit of thinking outside the box for me as well, because I can't really do a Karnaugh map or a truth table deal or anything like that to simplify an expression because of this NOR latch right here. I may have been able to if I'd used NOR latches, in my mapping, but I didn't. The other thing here is they don't give any information anywhere in the manual about which side of this is the set and which side of this is the reset. So the way these are labeled, and let me bring up my spreadsheet again just so I can do this. So let's just say we'll grab a box here like this. Let's go ahead and put a border around it. Did I put a border around you? Whoop, like this. So this input up top is going to be our reset. This input down below would be our set. This would be our Q not, and this would be our Q. Because that's just how they label these inside chips. So this would be our reset, which would be setting everything back to the original state of whatever the component was. And this would be the loading and or saving, in my opinion. Or, because of the way they're wording it, I could be using my reset as the loading and saving, and this as me setting my value. They don't tell me what that is, right? They don't give me that information. So you kind of have to just play around with it. But we do know from the way that they talked here, create a circuit that can save one bit of information. The first input should determine if we load or save, right? The second input is the value to save. This value should be ignored if we load. So loading or saving, we want one or the other. Exclusively, we want to load or we want to save. So that's what clued me into using an exclusive OR gate, because I don't want to load and save at the same time. I want to either load or I want to save, neither both off, neither both on, right? So that's where the exclusive OR gate comes in. And because I didn't know which side was set, reset, or what they're calling load or save, basically all I did here was I took both inputs into the exclusive OR gate and set that to one of the pins. And then I basically took the B input, which they said in our right here, the second input is the value to save, right? So I know that this is going to be what value I'm wanting to do. and I put it as the second input. And the reason it goes into the exclusive OR is because it's letting me know whether I'm wanting to maintain that information or not maintain that information. And then I just have it going out. See, once again here, though, I don't know which one's the prime and which one's the actual output on this. I just guessed, and I happen to guess right. So if we step this through, we can see both of them are turned on. So we're in the save state, because this is input 1, so this is saving. But we're not, like, see, this is what kills me. They don't really explain what they're wanting to do with this component properly. Because this is like a reading, writing, it's not the right verbiage I would have used. So we've got saving, the exclusive OR is turned off because we have 2 inputs coming to it. And so we're letting that input value of 1, the power turned on, go all the way through. Now, if I turn A and B back off, nothing's going to change, right? Because as we saw with our 2 NORs on the SR latch by itself, that until something else changes state, it's never going to change the output. So if we turn A back on again, our B input was turned off still, right? So we're going to have a change in state because we didn't turn our B on. We satisfied this exclusive OR, and it resets it, right? So we've loaded it, or we're saving it again as the new value. And then if we turn B on, nothing changes again because we have this exclusive OR satisfied again. So we're still in that, like we're technically loading. So it'd be kind of like we're reading this out now. So our first step was reading, writing it to here, and then the second step was reading it or loading it out. It's kind of a terrible way to discuss this. So if you struggled on this, definitely I understand that. The key thing here is looking at the tricky information. It's like doing a crossword puzzle. They all have the same damn answers. It's just looking at the key words to get that tricky phrase, right? So input should determine if we load or save. Exclusively loading or saving. That's an exclusive OR. We know we have to use an SR latch. The second input is going to be the value we want to save. So value goes straight in, exclusively OR the load or save, get an output. There we go, right? And then now is that on? And then now we're on the last one, bit inverter. So all this is doing is being sneaky and cheeky. We're experimenting with how backgrounds influence cognitive functions in Earthlings. The producers feel this gives the show a more scientific feel. When invert is on, output the opposite value, otherwise just output value as is. So if we look down at our truth table, we can already see this is something we already know. Nothing turned on, we get no output. Both turned on, we get no output. If exclusively one is turned on, we get an output. That's all they wanted. Exclusive OR. Done. Bit inverted. There we go. So that is going to be it for today. That was definitely a long episode there. I did way more talking, and I probably confused everyone more. I confused myself, let's be perfectly honest. Mainly because this program, while fun, is not presenting all the information in the way that I think it should be taught. Because I don't know if they're trying so much to teach people things or allowing nerdy, geeky people to create a computer with inside a computer game. I opt for the latter there, that they're trying to let us nerdy, geeky people create a computer less than teach you things. But you are hopefully learning some stuff. I do need to go back in the first video. I completely forgot to put timestamps in the first video on the lessons. I will definitely make sure I do that on these ones. And we've covered these 3 first, arithmetic, and these 4 memory. And then the next episode, we'll probably cover all of these arithmetics ones that I've already done. And then we'll be on to doing these together at the same time. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions that you need me to explain better, by all means, comment it below, and I'll try to explain as best as my feeble brain can in words that I know how to use. It's funny how certain brains can know how to do something but not know how to explain something, which is funny because that's my biggest complaint about this game, is that they tell you to do something without explaining it. So like I can get through these, but I don't like how they're trying to teach people that don't already know how to do these. So anyway, I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share with the whole universe and all that sort of stuff. And I'll see you guys later this week for Satisfactory, and then obviously some more of this coming up in the future as well. Ta-ta for now, guys. Bye!